Hey, we are back for another review of All the Queen's Men. We are on season 3, episode 4, entitled "The Choice Is Yours." So let's just jump right into it. Blue's car blew up last episode by way of Ferdinand. I still don't remember that man's name. Blowing up the car with his dead wife inside. And so her and Tommy are sitting outside trying to regroup, trying to figure out their next steps. And Tommy's trying to hurry up and get them out of there. Tommy's like, listen, we can't just sit out here and be sitting ducks. Obviously, this man has lost it and you need to go. But it appears as if Blue doesn't want Tommy to get caught up in it. So she's like, listen, you just go, Blue is trying to shake Tommy. So she doesn't want, Tommy involved in the situation. She wants to handle it herself. So she's trying to get rid of him. He's like, listen, madam will kick my ass if I, leave you out by yourself. So you need to come get in this car with me. And so she was like, okay, you go start the car first and then we'll go from there. So it's safe to say that his car has not been rigged. I guess it was only Blue's car. I think it's Blue. I'm assuming it was Blue's car that was set with the bomb and whatnot. All right, so Casanova, he is still at the precinct. They are ready to lock his ass up because he has not only tampered with evidence, he appears to now be on Madam's payroll. It's just a whole lot that's happening currently. And so they need to get the information out of him. He's begging and pleading for another chance to get information. He wants 24 hours, and the other cop agrees to give him 24 more hours before they come back and lock his ass up because he is impeding the investigations. Now, the investigation, what we'll learn later on in the episode, is that they have a vested interest. The sheriff, or whatever his name is, and the DA. But we'll talk about that a little bit later on in the review. All right, so Trouble is being annoying. She's decided to let Rayshawn stay with her for the night because they've been together since the night before when she ran into the side of the police's car, to try to help Midnight and Amp get away with the dead body of the girl he killed by accident. And so now she just feel like she's just down. She's totally sold out to Madam, even though she don't really know what's really going on. And by the end of this episode, she's gonna know, girl, your loyalty comes at a cost. And so good luck getting your way into this club because you're going to have to do something strange in a little bit. Anyway, Rayshawn is staying the night with Trouble because he has lost his girlfriend and his apartment fooling around with Tandy. Because you remember he had to get rid of his girlfriend, which I'm assuming in turn gets rid of his place to live. So he homeless. He just out here trying to get his life back together. So she's going to help him out. A girl calls Trouble on the phone. She saw Casanova talking to the cops when they released him. So she called Trouble. She's like, hey, I know Casanova works down at the club where you work. And you need to tell his boss that he's a cop. They know his name. They just let him go free. They seem to be buddies. So I know that they're a cop. And so Trouble's like, okay, bet. She thinks she got some information that's gonna put her down. That's gonna buy her loyalty, even prove her loyalty even all the more. Even though Madam is always 1 or 2 steps ahead of everybody, so she already knows the information. But Trouble doesn't know that she already knows. So she feels like she's doing really good and she's gonna get some brownie points because of it. So now she needs to go tell Madam that. She leaves Rashawn standing on the street in the cold because this is urgent news and she needs to get this information out immediately. All right, Ferdinand calls Blue and tells her, like, hey, it's your fault that my wife is dead. I mean, you've already touched her. So, like I told her, she ain't no good to me or nobody else. So nobody else is going to have a chance to have her. And so now she did. And then she was like, where you at? Where you at? Let's come talk about it face to face. And he sends her the address, to some address. And he threatens to feed her to his dogs if she shows up at said address. What you need to be is careful, Blue. I know you pissed. You was falling for this girl and whatnot. You don't already had to kill your other girl for Madam, and it's just a lot. You got a lot of emotions. Tensions are running high. But what I will implore you to do is do not take your simple ass down to an address that your enemy has given you. That puts you at a major disadvantage, and that will also put you down as dog food if you take your dumb ass over there. So let's just hope she doesn't. Let's just hope, because that doesn't make any sense, and you should know better than that. Anyway, Tommy insists that they go by Madam's house first to kind of brief on everything that's going on so far to figure out what the new plan of attack is going to be. So that's going to happen later on in the episode. All right, so DA Davis is talking to the sheriff, and this is the only reason I believe that they gave Casanova another chance to go gather more information on Madam, because D.A. Davis is talking to the sheriff, and he tells her, like, listen, it's an election year, and you also are up for a promotion, and you told me, that Madam was going to be the big fish that we needed to, kind of glean all these votes and to get you all this, politician type shit. Politician stuff. And so Davis is up, like you said, she's up for a promotion, and they both need basically a big fish to fry during the selection term to let the people know they down for them and, vote for me again. And he tells her, and she was like, yeah, I've been trying, but I've been trying to go by the book. And he was like, listen, when you were, rookie cop or whatever, you would circumvent the system a little bit to get what you need done. And I need some of that dog to come up out of you in this instance. So basically telling her, just forget going by the book. Just get the conviction, take this big fish down however you need to. And that's fine and well on this TV show. However, we know in the great United States of America that happens quite often, where there are political views that circumvent, actual right and wrong or actual justice or actually utilizing the system for what it's supposed to be used for. So it's just a little glimpse into actually how the justice system works, because again, their objective is to get promoted and to win votes, not ensure that your case is solid or that you take a potential criminal off the street. You just want a conviction. And that is a flaw in the system, but I don't have time to figure it out. That's outside of my purview, but just a note I'd like to make. All right. Fuego goes to Amp, and that's because Amp is letting him crash on the couch. He can't go home. Block is hot. He just needs to lay low. And so him and Amp have kind of become friends of sorts. And so Amp is telling him, like, listen, being stuck under Madam's thumb, it ain't as bad as going to prison. Because Fuego's like, okay, if I just go to prison, I can get away from her. He's telling him, like, this, out the frying pan into the fire, essentially. Like, it's not all it's cracked up to be, so maybe you can just make the most of the situation. All of this is going to come crumbling, so you just need to make the best of it while you can. But that's the gist of Amp's advice that he's been giving Fuego this whole time. He's been reiterating this, and Fuego is not understanding the full extent as to why you need to lay low and sit down. And so in this section of the episode, Amp is going to break it down to him. So he tells Fuego, tells Fuego about the girl that died in the locker room and about the truck that he says he hit the truck on purpose. Now, if you think back, maybe last season, he said that it was an accident. So remember, Madam had him tied up in the basement because she thought he stole her $750K. $1 million. Same difference at this point. And he said, hey, the attorney that you set me up with filed basically they said that the truck was at fault for the accident where his girlfriend, the first love of his life, died, right? Well, in this scene, he admits, like, hey, he tells Fuego about the girl that died in the locker room by accident. That he tells him that he hit the truck on purpose that killed his ex, because he was, but just because he was upset, just because they were having a disagreement, and just all these events. And then he goes on to tell him, like, listen, I'm really mad because I fell in love with Dime. He said a girl, but we know it's Dime. He fell in love again, and she came to my apartment and ran across some money, and she thought that money was mine. Basically, the whole situation with Madam, and I think it's less about him being pissed at Madam for almost chopping his head off, as opposed to his second love being lost, because the first one was lost in an accident at his hands, which was deemed an accident according to how Madam rigged the system to look, right? And so your second chance at love almost cost you your life. So that's the dynamic. She almost got him killed, and so that's weighing on him heavy. He's in literal tears, which for the first time this season, he's kind of letting down the guard, or between the haze of being a jackass and being under the influences, he's letting some of that show. And I am not sure that I think Fuego is the person that should have been shown to, because Fuego is already fragile. Fuego is already, got his own challenges upstairs. So I'm not sure that that's the person that you needed to lay all that on. But here we are. It's happened. There's nothing we can do about that. We can't go back and write that up the script. So we're going to move on. Okay. Then again, he's confiding too much in Fuego, because Again, he's about to tell him something else that is too much. He goes on to tell Fuego, listen, because in the midst of him telling the story about Madam killing him, he was telling her, like, yeah, she took me down in a basement up under the club and she was about to kill me. Oh, and so Fuego was looking dumb. He was like, oh, you had no idea. You have no idea the full extent of who my aunt is and what she's willing to do. Yeah, she has a basement in the bottom of the club where she tortures and kills people. She already has a body on you, which is basically her buy-in, how she buys loyalty from many of the other people that work here. And there's literally nothing you can do about it. She's well connected. So just ride this thing out. So my advice for you is to shut up, get your money, and make the most of what's available. And I agree. I just think about it. Let's be logical. Let's be logical about it. Okay. You realize the scope of what she's capable of doing based on the fact of you potentially going to the cops. For one, your girlfriend is girlfriend, whatever, is murdered. I think she was already dead before they put her in the bed. But anyway, she's dead in front of you and the crime scene is swiped. There's no recollection. There's nothing that you can tie to them. So they already got you over a barrel on that. And for two, if you go to jail, you do realize that she has to reach to get to you in jail, which she showed you a couple episodes ago by way of a couple other dudes from the club. Midnight and somebody else. Midnight and the other dude coming in, about to kill you in the jail. So you know that you're not safe at home, you're not safe in jail, and you running is probably not going to deem you safe anyway because she's connected to everybody, judges, cops, anybody you could think of. She has some sort of connection. So it will behoove you. I can't think of the man name who always says that on Instagram. Anyway, it would be wise for you to keep your nose clean, keep your mouth shut, and make the best. It's mob-tied crime. It is washing money. It's money laundering. It is $1 million empire. Just like all the others. It'll crumble one day. And then you'll just, maybe, I don't know, take a little, maybe then you could do your jail time in peace because it'll prove itself to be loyal. And when she goes down, then you can flee because she won't have her resources. Is that a good escape plan? Sounds good to me. Either way, just be quiet until the dust settles. That's the long and the short of it. That's Ant's plan. He's just like, listen, I'm just going to get under these influences and just ride this thing off until there's no more to ride. So, yeah. All right, so Madam has Doc sitting at a bar. The plan was to kidnap the governor's daughter because she needs some sort of leverage. She's working on another plan. And either way, that plan gets circumvented because the girl never showed up. But he does see D.A. Davis, and she's pretty lit. Like, she is 2 teardrops in a bucket. She is drunk because she knows she kind of has to circumvent the system to get this. It's just a whole lot weighing on her getting this conviction on Madam. And so her and Doc is saying some small talk. So small talk, and he has Madam, on speakerphone in the intermittent time, and he kind of puts the move on D.A. Davis, and she a little deprived, so she wavering, and so he puts the moves on her a little bit, and she getting a little hot and bothered up under the collar, but she is physically fighting the urge, to do what comes natural to people on occasion. Wink, wink. But Madam heard it, and DA gets an attitude because his penis is on her leg, and she just being extra as usual. And so let me go back. I'm not meaning that him violating her space makes her extra. What I'm saying is she was already drunk. She was already at a high level with her liquor, and so I don't know what I'm saying. Actually, what I'm saying is she was amused at him coming on to her, right? But she fought that amusement. So she was flustered, she was hot and bothered, but she didn't want to give into it. That's all I'm saying. All right. And Madam's like, okay, good. Doc, she's headed out. She leaves for the night or whatever. She's like, Doc, keep putting the pressure on her because if she sleeps with you, that'll be good ammo for me. So it'll be like the Casanova situation. She'll have, blackmail information that she can use to leverage, against them and to get what she wants. Now, I'm not really sure how her sleeping with Doc is leveraged. Now, I can see how Casanova's situation would be because you're undercover, but you're not supposed to get that deep undercover, which that pisses me off because why would you put me in the midst of this talking about be undercover, get the information if I can't play the full game? Why am I here? Anyway, the benefit, I guess, I don't see with her sleeping with Doc what the thing, or less, unless because I remember them trying to charge Doc with whatever his baby mama's name is, her death when she walked out in front of the bus. And if you sleep with the suspect, that could compromise that, which in turn would cast doubt on everything else that you're trying to pursue. So let's go with that angle. Casanova finally shows back up, and we know that was the worst idea you could possibly have because cops are dumb. Just this section just showed me cops are dumb. This is stupid, and the same thing happens over and over again. Maybe it's in TV shows, maybe it happens in real life. I don't know, but it's dumb. But we're gonna get into it. Tommy asked him, does he think he still have a job? While he just walks him back in, and he claims he was sick last night, and that's why he was gone. Even your lies are feeble and thinly veiled. All you had to say was, "Oh yeah, D.A. Davis was asking me what I had on you guys, and because I didn't tell her nothing, you tell her I deleted the information for y'all, and they tried to lock me up, but it didn't work. They told me to come back to get more information on y'all. Y'all know I'm not gonna get no more information, so boom. The truth would have fared you better, actually, because you kind of told her the truth anyway, because you was like, yeah, they asked me questions, and they told me to come back and get more information, but then you started leading, which lets you know that there's a device on you. All right. So Madam Tommy's like, you think you got a job while you was gone last night? And he was like, listen, let me talk to Madam about it first, and we'll go from there. Trouble is waiting outside, dying to tell anybody that'll listen, even Madam that Casanova's a cop. She's as proud as a peacock, just standing out there, just waiting to tell the information. And so she tells her, and Madam's like, okay, thanks. And then, just pays her dust that she normally does. Casanova goes in to see Madam and tells her that he was sick last night. Dumbest story. And he also tells her that they were looking for someone to flip, looking to flip one of her guys, and that he deleted the information from the computer, which all of that is true. And then he goes on to lead her. He fucks it up. All you got to do is keep telling her the truth and let her tell you what the next course of plan is for D.A. Davis, right? But no, he can't listen. He says, hey, my plan is to plant everything on one of the guys. What do you think about this and this? What do you think about that? What if we place? And then he started talking too much. He was like, yeah, because your partner is missing, and this person missing, and this person dead, and we could just place all of that on one guy. Sir, you haven't been there long enough to know all of this information, so you started talking too much, right? And so listen, Madam ain't dumb. Madam goes, hey, I think you got a wire on you. Like, well, what's going on? Something ain't right. He was like, listen, do you think I would come in here with a wire? So he strips down. Yeah, he strips down. Everything from the neck down is off. He's just, two cheeks in the wind. And she was like, I know you're not dumb enough, but obviously you're dumb enough. So she turns her screen around. There's a scanner. So some kind of scanner that picks up on listening devices or whatever is on him somewhere. It may not be on his actual person, but it is on him. And so Tommy finds the wire, and it's implanted in his ear like it looked like a damn Bluetooth earbud. It really wasn't. It was very thinly concealed, just stupid. And so he's like, listen, we can work this out. The begging is over. It's a wrap for you, my guy. So now Tommy has to take him to the basement, and we're going to deal with him in a little bit. All right. Concierge calls Madam, and he tells her, like, listen, I asked for you to be on the plane to go to Mexico with me, and you did not. So, and I also realized that you have upped your security presence. And so now I have a mission. I've been given an order. My wife's father is mad, and he has to take something from you that you hold dearly, that you hold close to your heart. And she was like, well, joke's on y'all. It ain't much you're going to be able to get from me because I don't hold anything, dear to my heart. So good luck with that. And he tells her, like, listen, I'm just telling you what I've been told to do, and that you or someone you love is going to be hanging from a bridge in Mexico, I guess, as retaliation. So that is unfortunate because she does not hold anyone or anything that dear. The only thing I could think of is her father, but I feel like you your daddy's son, and your daddy gonna be on his P's and Q's too now that he can talk, and he has a little bit of means. I don't know. He might escape before y'all even get there to get him. That's just my guess. So who would be next? Who else would be a reasonable target? Not her sister, because she don't give a damn if she live or die. But if I were Madam, right? Let's hear me out. If I were Madam, I would tell them, please, 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 please don't take my sister. Right? Knowing that y'all hate each other, y'all like mortal enemies. And then they'll be like, okay, oh, you care about your sister, huh? No, not for real. And then they go get your sister in retribution, and y'all are even, and she's no longer a problem for you. Now, I wouldn't do that to my sister, but the relationship that you and your sister have, that makes sense to me. So, if y'all need a writer, just hit your girl up. I have my people, call your people, and we'll work it out. All right. Okay. Anyway, so we go back. She's heading downstairs. She got to figure out this thing with Casanova. She's sick of him. She's about to go ahead and guillotine him at this point. She's sick of it. So she's trying to head that way. And again, trouble is being a pest as usual. And she's begging for a solo. And she's begging for a solo. I prove my loyalty as if one has anything to do with the other. She's like, well, I proved my loyalty and I need a solo. And these men ain't working it like blah, 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 blah. Just begging like a sick puppy. And man was like, okay, you can have your own spot if you prove your loyalty just one last time. Just Tommy, send her down to the basement with me. And so they get down to the basement, and Trouble sees Casanova Tyler. She was like, yeah, I knew this was a snitch. I ain't never liked you from the beginning. You been snooping around. Him, like, just going ham, right? And so Madam's like, oh, she's looking at the angst that she has for him. She's looking like, this could work in my favor. And so she hands Trouble a gun. She tells her, listen, put this to his head and erase him from the earth. Just go ahead and free his soul from his body for me one time, for the one time. And now she hemming and hawing and backpedaling and popping. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. It's too late. You're going to have to do what you got to do to get up out this back room. Because, girl, now you've seen how things work. You're involved now. You want to be down so bad. You want to be Brandy so bad. You want to be down. So now you got to prove yourself and prove your loyalty. Congratulations. This is what you wanted. And I don't know if it was safe to have Trouble do that, because she seemed like the type of person like that's who gonna snitch. If anybody, it would be her, because she be willing to tell anything to anybody that'll listen, because at this point she just likes to hear her own voice. So then there's that. Okay, that's all I got. Pretty interesting. The episode's picking up. It's a slow burn sometimes. Even though I don't feel that with this show. I feel that with some of the other shows like Sisters, The Team, or some of the other ones that I reviewed. But this one, it seems to have some drama every episode, in my opinion. But let me know what y'all think. Either way, that's it. That wraps up episode 4. Let me know what y'all think about the episode. Like, comment, share, subscribe, or whatever it is that you feel like doing. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.